Hi, I'm going to show you how to embroider this silk ribbon daffodil group. So I've got some tea-dyed open weave fabric here, which is nice and easy to do silk ribbon embroidery on, and I've got some 13mm pure white silk embroidery ribbon that I've prepared by running it through a set of mini straighteners. And I'm just using an air erasable pen here to mark roughly where I want my flower to be. So this is the 13mm pure silk white embroidery ribbon. I'm just doing a ribbon stitch here, and I'm using a pin to leave the end of the ribbon stitch very wide and open. So I'm just doing another one by the side there. So you bring the ribbon down through the centre of itself, just wrap it around a pin or a needle. And I'm going to draw this little oval here. This will probably fade out in a minute, but just so that you can see where I'm aiming with my stitches. And I've got some 4mm pure silk white embroidery ribbon. I've just prepared that by running it through my straighteners. I'm tying a knot in one end, and I'm just going to bring it up through on the edge of the ribbon here, and I'm just going to do another little row of ribbon stitches. So exactly the same as we did before, bringing the ribbon up through the fabric, straightening it with the needle, and then just sewing down through the centre of itself and allowing the ends to curl over into a little point to make a nice little ribbon stitch. So I'm just going to continue all along the bottom here to do a little row of these ribbon stitches with the 4mm white silk embroidery ribbon. So when you're doing silk ribbon embroidery, you have to use 100% pure silk or it won't work. You won't be able to get the ribbon through your fabric, and it won't behave properly for you. So always use white, and then as I'm going to show you later, colour it afterwards. That way you only have to buy white ribbon, you don't have to buy all the colours in the rainbow. And just do your little stitches, and then we'll colour them afterwards. I'm just going to continue doing these ribbon stitches now around to form a little oval, as if we're looking at the end of a pipe, which we basically are with the centre of this daffodil. So this is the tube section in the centre of the daffodil I'm working on now. So I'm just going to continue around this imaginary oval with the ribbon stitches. So I'm going to colour this section next. I'm going to use some permanent marker pens. These are Pro markers in pumpkin and apricot. These are permanent, they won't fade, they won't bleed out into your backing fabric, so just touch them to the silk and the silk will draw the pigment that it needs. By using two colours always, you get a very natural result. So we're dyeing the bit of the daffodil that's closest to the rest of the petals in a lighter colour, and we're using the darker, more vibrant colour towards the end of the little trumpet there. So I've got some 2mm pure silk white embroidery ribbon here, and I'm just going to do 3 little tiny French knots to form the stamen sticking out of the end of the trumpet. I'm just going to dye these little stamen here with a mustard coloured Pro marker pen. I'm preparing a length of 13mm pure silk embroidery ribbon now, just running it through my little mini straighteners. I use the mini straighteners because it's a lot easier, but if you don't have them, a normal ironing process will do. So I'm bringing the ribbon up through now. I'm just going to twist it slightly before I do a ribbon stitch. So this is a twisted ribbon stitch. Once again, passing the ribbon back down through the centre of itself and allowing the ends just to curl slightly. I'm going to make 6 of these stitches with this 13mm. I'm just going to arrange the petals differently for each one. So this one's I'm just going to do a puffed ribbon stitch here with no twist in it. So when you're doing this, just let the petals twist around a little bit. If you arrange them just straight flat out like a starfish, it won't look like a natural flower. So do a couple of twisted ones, and some untwisted ones, and all will be well. So to dye these petals I'm going to use 2 shades of Pro Marker. I've got mustard and vanilla. Vanilla is the lighter colour which I'm going to use towards the centre of the flower, and then the mustard pen just going to touch on the ends of those petals, and by doing it this way you'll get a beautiful natural result where the colours blend together beautifully. So here, as long as you don't touch this backing fabric with your pens, the pens won't bleed out into them. The silk will draw the ink that it needs, and just let the silk do the work with the blending. So there's my flower head finished. I'm now going to make a stalk, and I've just got some 13mm here. I've brought it up through the fabric and I'm just twisting it very tightly to form a little silk cylinder, and then I'm going to couch it down just with a regular sewing thread. I'm just going to stitch that down onto the backing fabric that I'm using. So this fabric that I'm using is it's a tea dyed cotton open weave fabric. You can get it on the craftyattic.com website. We do starter kits for the ribbons as well. All the silk embroidery ribbons you can buy any size you like, any length, and all the needles and things that you need to do this project are there as well. So I've got a couple more pens, Holly and Pine, and I'm just going to touch them using the thin end of the pen. I'm just going to touch them to this little silk cylinder. Just let the silk suck the pigment from the pen, and that way we won't get it out onto the backing fabric at all. So I'm using these 2 colours, alternating them so that we get a natural result. So I'm just preparing another bit of 13mm ribbon here. I'm going to do a little bud in a moment, and I'm going to use this 13mm. So I've got an air erasable pen, and I'm just drawing very roughly where I want my little bud to be. So I'm bringing the 13mm through the fabric, just doing a little ribbon stitch, then using the 13mm again, just bringing it up through the fabric again. I'm going to use it folded in half this time. So just fold it in half, do a ribbon stitch down through the middle, and that gives us our little bud there. And then using the same ribbon, just bring it up through the fabric, twist it to form a cylinder, and then we're going to couch that down in exactly the same way as we did before to form the stalk. So I'm going to try and get a little bit of an arch on this stalk now, so I'm just going to pin it in a couple of places and then couch it down. So using the same 2 colours that I used before here just to dye this little bud. So I've got the lighter colour towards the stalk and the darker colour towards the tip of that little bud there, and using the same 2 greens, so the holly and the pine, just to finish off the leaf and the stalk. So just to finish off this little project now, we just need 3 or 4 leaves. So I've got the 13mm ribbon back on my needle again. So the needles that you need for silk ribbon embroidery are chenille needles. They've got very sharp points and they've got nice fat eyes to allow you to be able to thread properly. So I'm just going to arrange this little piece of ribbon here so that it looks as I wish it to, because I kind of want my leaf flopping over at the top. So we'll do it like that, and then I'm going to put a couple of little tiny stitches in it with just a regular sewing thread in a minute, just to hold it where I want it to be. So I'm going to do the same with this leaf on the left. Just do a ribbon stitch, leaving plenty of room there for it to kind of arch up and flop back down again. I've just got a regular sewing thread. This is on a regular embroidery needle. I'm just putting a couple of tiny tacking stitches in there just to hold the tip of that leaf so that it turns where I wish it to. Using the same process on the left hand leaf here, just tacking the top very slightly. I'm going to put a few tacking stitches down the sides of these ribbons as well to get them to fold and twist as I want them to. So just pulling that one slightly. I'm after a nice natural result here. And leaves do twist around. So we're just going to allow them to do that a little bit and just hold them down with a couple of stitches. I'm going to do a third little leaf here using the same 13mm. I'm just going to stitch down through the centre of it this time. And I've got my same 2 green pens. Again, I'm using the pine colour towards the tip of these leaves because that's a brighter green, and I'm using the darker colour down towards the base of the plant, allowing the silk to blend these colours together. You don't have to do anything, just be careful that you don't touch your backing fabric, because obviously you will colour the backing fabric if you do that, but provided you just touch the silk is very well behaved, it will keep the ink to itself. And there, we're just nearly finished with this little daffodil group now. So these are very quick to do. They look beautiful. Make a great Mother's Day present or something, a little picture like this. And there we are, finished. So you can get all of the materials you need from craftyattic.com website. Please support the making of these videos by getting your supplies from us, because it means we can make loads more. Thank you very much for watching, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to get the latest videos as soon as they're available. Thanks for watching. Bye!